Today's segment of Sound Balming is brought to you by Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care. I cannot express to you how much we love their products. Although we use them all year, as the weather gets colder, we need these products even more. The dreaded drop in temperature, the dryness, the itchiness, and the unnecessary flakiness is inevitable. Shea butter from Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care is the only thing that works for my skin and hair needs. Not only do these products cure my dry skin, the whipped butter goes on smoothly and doesn't leave that uncomfortably thick, sticky residue. Bonus? It smells absolutely amazing. There are so many different scents to choose from too. Not only do they carry skincare products, there are products for authentic living, face, shower, hair and beard, spritzers and perfumes, and bath products. Let me tell you, we cannot even keep the stuff in the studio. The entire production team as well as all our children use Jimmy and Mary's product. Jimmy and Mary's take pride in creating quality, handcrafted products from simple ingredients for the entire family. Their products are made for all skin types and are 100% handmade, 100% vegan, and 100% cruelty-free. Skincare is important. Moisture is key, and keeping our skin and hair hydrated is essential. I cannot emphasize how much we trust Jimmy and Mary's for all of our skincare needs. Hurry on up to jimmyandmarys.com and check out their products. Did I mention service is fast and efficient too? Don't forget to mention that you heard about Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare on Sound Balming. Use the discount code SOUNDBALM20 to get 15% off. That's SOUNDBALM20 for 15% off at Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sound Bombing. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bombs. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
Lamar Darnell Shields.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and happy new you, happy new year. I am so excited about what we have in store for you here at Sound Bombing. 2020 was amazing for our show. Unfortunately, we did have a lot of people being sick due to COVID, a lot of people dealing with the poverty issues that are taking place across the country, the healthcare issues across the country, the politics across the country, and also the protests. But with that, we are still back and we are excited because we have an amazing year for you. This year on January 23rd, I'm so excited. We're having our first Sound Bombing Town Hall discussion. It is called the Empower You Tour. And this is free to any and everybody. This particular panel discussion with 9 amazing guests who appeared on my show are going to be live with you in your bedroom, in your car, in your office, wherever you listen to the show. Just tune in and you'll be hearing more information about the Empower You Tour. I'm so excited what this year has for me. Well, who am I? I am Dr. Lamar Darnell Shields, and welcome to my show. I am the creator of Sound Bombing, and my goal with this show is to introduce you to people with ideas that will help you unlock your full potential, like my last guest, Dr. Joe Johnson. Dr. Johnson appeared on the show and talked about purpose and passion. If you're not familiar with Dr. Joe Johnson, he just appeared on the Iyanla Van Zandt show on OWN, the OWN Network. Fix my life, and that show was amazing. It wasn't just about him, but it was about his family and how they're overcoming, how they're dealing with some of the tragedies that have taken place in their family. And if you missed that show, definitely check out the show. So I'm so excited about today's show because this show is about questions. This show is about signals and signs and going deep. But I want to start off with this, sound bombings. People, when people think of Einstein, they see a lone genius with his discoveries. Most of us don't quite understand what exactly these discoveries were, but we all learned fairly early on that he changed our understanding of physics. Similarly, Leonardo da Vinci is familiar to us most memorably for his famous Mona Lisa. And we know that his notebooks also contain a wide variety of sketches that predicted inventions in science and engineering. These immediate images that we have of them create a mental narrative in our mind that associates their intellect with an ability to produce answers. After all, without Einstein, there likely would be no theory of general relativity, and who knows how far behind the world we'll be right now. While Da Vinci didn't quite shift our understanding of reality to that degree, it makes you wonder how much more progress we could have made if something was actually done with the sketches he produced. Well, neither of them actually focused too much on getting to a solution. Of course, once they knew what they were looking for or producing, they put in the work to get to an end, but that's only a very small part of it. Both Einstein and Da Vinci, like many other effective people, were driven primarily by asking rather than answering. And what is the strength of their questions that ultimately shape their lives? And that's what today's show is about. The underutilized power of questions and messages, and the messages and or signs we are receiving from the universe. Do you ever feel like the universe is trying to tell you something, but you just don't understand the message? Do you find yourself seeking answers to questions in your life and never quite finding a solution? Well, I invited Dan Riordan to the show to help me unpack these questions. Dan is a seasoned technology executive with over 30 years of operational leadership in multiple entrepreneurial ventures. He is the president of his own company, a podcaster, a consultant to several startup ventures. His passion is helping people to produce better outcomes in their lives, relationships, and business. Dan is also the author of Signals. In this book, Dan provides us with an entirely new way of thinking about the subtle signals you are getting in everyday life. Dan's passion is helping people to produce these better outcomes. And I'm so excited that Dan has decided to join me in 2021 to kick off the new year. Dan, welcome to Sound Bombing. How are you? And let my listeners know where you're calling in from.
Man, that was a great intro. I loved it. I'm calling in from the San Francisco Bay Area today. It's a rainy, cold day outside, but it's a great start to the new year. So really appreciate you having me on the show, and love the intro. The questioning and the insight that you're giving there is just a huge part of the way I've learned to live my life on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I'm excited that you are kicking off the year following my good friend, Dr. Joe Johnson, who talked about purpose and passion. And welcome to 2021, man. I am so excited that you did decide to join me. I checked out many of your talks. You got a chance to sit down with some of the most amazing people on the planet. Jack, I'm calling him Jack, like I know personally. You sat down with Jack Canfield. You sat down with some amazing people. But what I know about you is you're an engineer. So how did you go from an engineer founding a company then to really start talking about signals and signs that are around us in our everyday life? What I do know about engineers, you guys do ask a lot of questions. You all go deep. If we were in my class, I would say, Dan, put your damn hand down. I'm trying to get out of class. The class is over. You probably want to ask more and more questions. When I just want to get out of class, that's all I want to do. And then my engineer friends, you are always taking stuff, putting stuff apart, taking it, putting it apart. So it probably makes a lot of sense that you would be doing what you're doing. Talk to me about your background, how that your engineering background prepared you to not only just lecture, found your company, but then also talk about signals and signs that are around us in our everyday life.
Yeah, it's a really fun story. I'm going to make it brief, but it's really interesting because when I came out of school, I was really good at cranking out formulas and solving math equations and, physical problems and all that kind of stuff, and dove into designing software and computer stuff. And what I had never really done, though, was step back and said, wait a minute, I should run my life personally the same way as I attack equations or solving computer problems. And, I ran my life for a long time, really not questioning the life side, just kind of doing what I thought was right versus really thinking through decisions. And when I talk about signals, I really do from the mindset of signals of intuition. These intuitional signals are coming in all the time for all of us. But most of the time we're tuning them out because we kind of think we know better, or a belief or a value or some kind of illusion we created for ourselves is guiding us, and we just blow off these signals. And all of that kind of came to fruition for me about 7 years ago. With Dr. Jeff, I've been going to him, and he said, Dan, your blood pressure's up. And I said, what do you mean my blood pressure's up? I work out like a maniac. I'm on this, play racquetball. And he goes, man, you're just getting old. And I said, oh, Jeff, this cannot be the answer. And he goes, man, next time you're going to get put on medication if your blood pressure is not down. And I went out to the car and I sat there and I said, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Why is this blood pressure thing happening for me? It was one of those intuitional signals. I can't quite explain it, but at that moment, it took me back to my engineering roots. And I literally put up whiteboard paper around my entire living room, and I started researching every input, every piece of food I was taking in, every piece of water, every piece of light, every input. And I realized I was doing it completely wrong. Every piece of food I was putting in was wrong. The water was wrong. The light I was consuming was wrong. And it really changed my entire life. Because at that moment, I stopped running my life based on crazy beliefs or things that had been instilled in me. And I started questioning, and it led me to questioning every input personally, professionally, just everything.
So Dan, why should we question everything? I know in your training as an engineer, you all are constantly asking yourselves questions and over and over again. Why should we question everything? And what are some of the questions we should be asking ourselves about the signals and signs that the universe are throwing out at us?
Yeah. So, this question, everything is really interesting because as an engineer at the root of it, an equation never lies. The truth circles back out. If you get the right inputs into it, you get kind of quote unquote the truth out of the equation. But in life, we tend to run our decisions a lot on emotion, and we really don't get down to the real truths of it. We're just running on emotion, and that emotion leads us astray a lot of the time. And so I started to question with really, really simple questions. Like, I'll give you one when you talk about, like, how do you run your day? I used to believe I was a great multitasker. And then I started really looking at it, and I realized, oh man, I am like not multitasking at all. I'm just blowing off all the things I don't want to do, but doing the one thing I do want to do. And so I redid my whole life and said, no, every day I'm waking up with one thing I'm going to know, no matter what today, I'm getting that one thing done. And then if I can get to number 2 or number 3, I dive in. But I really reframed my whole process. But it's this process of saying really simple questions. Like when I'm in a meeting at work, I ask things like, is this something you know or something you think you know? Trying to get at, what are you really telling me? Are you telling me like some assumptions, or are you giving me real data that has real fact and real substance behind it? And then my next question is, what else do I need to know for me to form my own truth or belief about this? So then I'll ask some simple questions around what else do I need to know? And then, kind of goes on from there. But really a couple simple ways to just dive into quick answers to quick ideas.
And I know you talk about in your book and also in your lectures, you talk about cauliflower moments. Now, I love cauliflower, man. They've been using cauliflower, cauliflower chicken, cauliflower barbecue, cauliflower pasta. I've been a meat-free since 93. So people are just catching up with the cauliflower food. And I know you talk about it. explain to my audience what are cauliflower moments. That's a hard word to say. What are cauliflower moments, and why is this process so important and different from other concepts that people have been using for thousands of years?
Yeah, I came up with the cauliflower moment because unlike you, I had gone through my life hating cauliflower. And it really was when I was a kid, my mom.
Right there. I'm sure I did too. Let me be real. I'm sure when I was younger, I hated cauliflower as well. But when I changed my diet and I saw these people using cauliflower in different places, I don't want to make it seem like I'm this chef, this genius. No, I got on a cauliflower train a long time ago. I mean, serious. But like you, I don't even know if I hated it. I don't even know if my mother even prepared cauliflower, to be real.
Yeah, my mom did. And unfortunately, it was like it stunk up the house and it was soggy. And, my dad would have to sit at the end of the table and force me to eat it, and it was like this thing that I just really did not like this thing. But when I started questioning my blood pressure, I was shocked to learn just how powerful cauliflower is in our machine. And so we started using it as mashed potatoes. We started using it in our stir fry. And all of a sudden, I love the thing. And now I have it 2 or 3 times a week at least, and sometimes more. And so I was really fascinated with how did I go from hating something, not really having the right information about it, and believing for a lot of years that just wasn't something I wanted. And now I love it. And I feel great when I eat it. And that process of changing a belief about something is what I call a cauliflower moment. And I found in life, these moments where we have really strongly held beliefs and something has to shake us from that belief to get us to see it in a different light is what I just framed a cauliflower moment. And it was simply from literally a cauliflower moment for me.
How would you define, compare and contrast the concept of belief versus a habit? Now, I know in my research, they said it takes over 25 times to sort of change a habit. How do you move from this belief to habit or habit to belief? Because I can see them dancing in the same ring together. But I want to make sure that my audience members understand, based on your study and research, that there may be a difference or there may be a similarity between the two of them.
Man, it is a great nuance you're bringing up. And I'm going to give you another example of it was a habit and a belief. And it kind of leads maybe to helping with the delineation there. But, this is something I'm not really proud to say, but I used to be a really bad driver. And I was the guy on the road that was driving 80 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic, causing everybody a lot of stress. And then in this quest of questioning, beliefs and cauliflower moments, I basically said, okay, I'm going to drive 15 days, 30 minutes back and forth from work that way. And then I'm going to drive 15 days, speed limit, never changing lanes, and see what happens. My maximum differential was 5 minutes, max. Almost every day it was within 1 minute of driving like a maniac and putting a lot of people's lives in stress and driving just, casual. And it really blew me away again, because I'm like, wow, how did I have this belief that here I am going to get there fastest? Now it became a habit because I just kept doing it. And so now that was the only way I knew how to drive. So what I look at these beliefs and a habit are, beliefs are these deeply rooted messages, values that have been imparted on us. And then the habit is you've done it, like you said, 21 times, and now it kind of stacks on top of each other. And now you get pretty locked in. And I think there's the way to kind of break this vapor lock of habit and belief is you really do have to go back to this, man, where did I get this from? Like, what made me think that cauliflower was no good? And for me, it stunk and it was soggy when I was a kid, but the habit had become, I just turned it down all the time. So I had to go back and question that belief and then reframe that and then create a new habit on top of it. Does that help?
No, it definitely helps. Dan, question, a follow up to that. Are you familiar with the term synchro destiny coined by Dr. Chopra? It's a term to refer to taking advantage of unpredictable moments in your life, like meaningful coincidences. Like I don't believe that there are any coincidences. And since your work, you talk about signals and signs engaging with one another and then showing up. And I think about the concept of synchro destiny. What do you do with those signs and symbols that are showing up in your life on the day-to-day basis that are coming to you over and over again? As you see in the beginning, I asked a question: do you feel like the universe is trying to tell you something, or do you find yourself seeking answers? One is, are you familiar with the concept of synchro destiny, which I just explained it? And do you see it in relation to the work that you're doing around signals and signs that are all around us on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so I actually hadn't heard the term synchrodestiny before, but in your brief explanation, 100% agree with it. What I've really been both training myself and helping others with is you almost don't even realize it's a signal. Like, if you put on 3 to 5 pounds of weight every year, like you hear about that, right? As you get older, you're going to put on a couple pounds every year. And, now all of a sudden, lo and behold, you wind up 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight. There's a signal there that's coming every year, but you just blow it off because the common myth around it is, oh, that's just what happens to us. But if you stop to question, wait a minute, why did I put on those 2 to 5 pounds this year? What actually happened? It leads you to really uncovering a lot of truths that are being broadcast to you that you're just blown by. And so when I look at it, it's everywhere. Like, I'll give you another fun one. Just recently, this term, have you ever heard the term or the hotel chain name Shangri-La?
No.
Yeah. So there's this word called Shangri-La. There's a hotel chain named it. That word came up, and I said, I wonder where that word came from. So then I went and looked it up, and it comes from a movie, from 1937 called Lost Horizons. And this movie's amazing. I dialed it up and I watched it, and it's all about the people. They've created a Shangri-La in the Himalayas, and it's all about no materialism, getting back to, family values. It's all about living in a Shangri-La, this wonderful, beautiful place. And I would have never experienced this if I hadn't stopped and questioned this simple thing that showed up, Shangri-La. What is that word? It leads you on a great journey. And so I look at these signals, they're big and small. They come in all levels. And the real fun of it is just diving in and starting to question them. Just go dig into it and say, wonder why that showed up. I wonder what that's about. I wonder what that word means. I wonder what this food is about. So that's kind of the way that I operate.
Well, I know one of the great teachers, Leo Carver, said, once you begin to recognize and engage with the signs around you, remember that you have the power to see whatever you want to see. How would you explain that quote in your work and when you're engaging your clients around seeing what's around them and paying attention to the signs?
Oh, man, it's a great quote. And it really is the magic of this journey we're all on, because when I'm going to get a little engineer on you here, but when you look at things from a thermodynamic perspective, pure energy, this thing we're in is just one giant bundle of energy. And thermo is this great study that the net energy in the universe is constant. Second law of thermo is whenever energy is converted from one form to another, there's something called disorder or entropy created. So I just look at this and I see energy everywhere. And the signals, these signs are really coming up as, hey, you eat something and then all of a sudden at 2:00 in the afternoon, you get sleepy. That's not normal. Your body's sending you a signal. What did you just eat? Did you just load up on a bunch of carbs at lunchtime? So now you're dragging? What did you put into the machine that's causing this outcome that you didn't necessarily want to have? I mean, it really is the signs, the signals, the outcomes that we're getting, and you break it all back down to energy, and you say, this bundle of energy that we're a part of is truly fantastic, and the potential's amazing. And it's all there for us as we start to dance with it in a different way.
What is something that some people seem to misunderstand about you and your work and your theory and concept about signals and signs around you?
I think the biggest thing that we all struggle with is we think that these things that we haven't questioned, or these beliefs that have led to wrong outcomes, that they're failures. And it isn't a failure. This is just about we're experiencing. We're here to experience exactly what we are experiencing. So if we don't get hung up in labeling it a failure and we just say, okay, I didn't get the outcome I wanted there, let me go question that belief and see if I was on target or not. It's really letting yourself be okay with saying, hey, I got duped out. I had a wrong belief there. Okay, I'm going to reframe it and I'm going to move on and attack it a new way.
Well, I know that you are a CEO of a company, and much of an executive works day is spent asking others for information, requesting status updates from a team member. Yet, for example, questioning it's somewhat a tense negotiation. Unlike professionals such as litigators, journalists, and lawyers and judges, they learn about asking questions as a skill that can be honed or consider how their own answers to questions can make conversation more productive. How do you then tend to help executives and CEOs like yourself who really don't understand the power of deep questioning to then help their teams to be more productive?
I think at an enterprise level, a lot of the basics get blown by. And what I mean by that is when we were scaling the last company from 15 to 180 people, as we were starting to grow, I ran around the company and I asked everybody, have you ever been taught how to interview? And you know what? Virtually nobody had been taught how to do a great interview. Have you been taught the basics of how do you do a weekly check-in with the people on your team? Really simple stuff. And it's not the meaty stuff that you necessarily want to attack, but it's really the basics of saying, man, really get in touch with what your teams do or don't know and help them. One of my best questions in my weekly check-ins with my teams is, what's the major roadblock for you right now? What is causing you to not make the progress that you want to make? Big or small, whatever it is, we got to clear that roadblock. And it really is amazing what you find out about your enterprise just with a simple question like that.
Well, one of my favorite books, and we're going to talk about your book shortly, is Dale Carnegie's book that came out, I guess, in 1930s, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in that, he says, ask questions the other people will enjoy answering. More than 80 plus years after that, Dan, most people still fail to heed what Dale Carnegie, the sage, advises us to do. Why do you think we read these books? I call them shelf help books, not self-help. They stay on the shelf. We read this book and I hear people talk about that, but one of his biggest things he talks about is asking questions other people will enjoy answering. Why do we tend to fail at that? And then what strategies do you have to help people not fail at asking people questions and being observant about all the things and signals and signs that surround them on a day-to-day basis?
Man, I get back to what I see the most common is we have these things that I labeled BVIs, but beliefs, values, and illusions that we think we know. So we get into a one-on-one with our employee and we think what they know, we think we know what they faced inside of the organization, but we weren't in all the meetings that they were in. We weren't in the one-on-ones they had with other people in the teams, but for some reason we think we know. So then we don't ask the insightful questions. We ask more of the simpler questions that we think we know what they need, but we're not really digging in from the perspective of saying, hey, I didn't experience the week that they experienced. All right, tell me about it. Where's your roadblocks? What am I not seeing that you're feeling that'll make this, a more successful, more fun, more progress adventure for you? Really is the thing I see the most.
What do you enjoy about doing this work? And then I want you to talk about your book Signals and what should people expect when they walk away when they finish reading this book? What do you expect people to do or feel after that? But talk about me, your experience. What do you enjoy about doing what you do?
You know what I enjoy the most now is helping others. I really feel like, in some ways, I feel like I made every mistake known to man. So, but I know I didn't, but I feel like I just made a lot. And I really do feel that my questioning journey has smoothed out the turbulence in my life and those around me a lot. And so for me, I love it when I switch on that light bulb for somebody when they're like, oh my God, I never even thought of questioning that or looking at something from that perspective. So the book is one that I wrote, really, it came out of this journey. And I wrote it saying, look, if I can help one person or help millions, amazing, right? I just feel that we're all here to serve and we're on this great universal journey together. And we're all supposed to be helping each other with our insights and information and intuition. And so I wrote it, and it really is a kind of a process of questioning, giving you a lot of tools to question things around the office, question things personally, a little bit about health in there, just a little bit to wake up an insight that maybe one of these things will trigger you to go, okay, I'd never even thought about questioning that part or that way.
What are some of those questions, Dan, that you can share with my listeners?
I mean, I like to start really simple. It's really, really simple. Anytime you're getting something that comes up, whether it's you got a leaky faucet in the kitchen or a word you don't recognize and you want to go look it up, or you're getting sleepy at 2 p.m, or why is it that these things are manifesting? Stop and ask yourself, what do I know about this thing? Where did my belief come from? Really simply. And then what more do I need to know to learn more? So sleepy at 2 p.m. Does everybody have that? No. Well, what more do I need to know? What am I eating? Oh, what triggers sleep at lunchtime? Oh, okay. Well, maybe, I did have that. Let me machine that out. And now all of a sudden you're down this really fun path. So to make it not too complicated, it's really just those couple questions to start with. There's a lot more you can question as you get into this, because unfortunately, we live in a society and a time right now where the misinformation is rampant. And you got to understand that there was books written by some really smart people back in the 1930s that talk all about how to do propaganda in the right way. And those people have been adopted by the governments, the militaries, the food companies. You have to understand that the game that we're being played in the middle of is not what you think. And inside of there, once you realize that there's a lot of propaganda and misinformation intentionally, it really does get exciting and fun, because you're like, hey, wait a minute. Is that really good for me? Well, let me go dive in. I'll give you the example of light. We all think that LEDs and forms of light are the same. They aren't. A lot of the newer lights have been designed without the part of the light spectrum that actually powers your ATP and gives you energy. So you're sitting inside a bad light and you're feeling like you got a headache when you're around the wrong kind of light. If you get an old incandescent light bulb, you actually get the right kind of light that powers your ATP. You won't get a headache. It's really amazing, but there's a lot of things. There's nuances everywhere to this.
So Dan, I know that you have a passion in helping people produce better outcomes in their lives. Where did that passion come from, and why are you so concerned about improving the life and improving the outcomes of people that you don't know, or maybe people that you do know?
It comes from this realization I had of, man, I slept walked through 25 years post-college. I got out of college and thought I knew it all. Came out of engineering school, was ready to attack the world. And I was really stunned at how easy it was for me to just sleepwalk through. Once that mystical thing was broken for me, and all of a sudden I realized, wow, we are all under a lot of influences that we don't realize. I really felt like, hey, look, I've been gifted with a questioning brain, a lot of analytical capacity, and I want to, dive into this and help other people. And again, switch that on to say, no, question that. Don't just blow by that. It's not the way you think it is. Question it deeper, tear into it, form your own truths. Don't listen to somebody else's.
Well, Dan, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. It's been a pleasure talking to you, but you cannot leave yet because part 2 of the show is called the Super Bomb Questions, where I ask you some very, very personal questions and I need you to respond to them as quickly as possible. It's always fun. They're very, very rapid fire. And I think you're going to enjoy this part of the show. You ready, Dan?
Perfect. Fire away.
Here we go, Dan. What is your favorite word?
Passion.
What's your favorite quote or musical verse or Bible verse?
Oh boy, that one's a little more complicated. I got a lot of those. Let's see. Favorite quote is, if they can get you asking the wrong questions, they don't have to worry about the answers.
What's your superpower?
Joy in every moment.
What's your spirit animal?
Tiger.
What brings you to tears of joy?
Little kids playing at the park.
What do you wish you had more time to do?
Read.
What is the book or books you've given most as a gift and why?
Yogananda's book and the autobiography of a yogi. And it is the book that I read every year. It's kind of my New Year's ritual, but the wisdom and the insight in that book is powerful.
What values do you live by every day?
Number one is live in the present moment. Really be present. Just in today's world, I find presence is so hard for people, and really enjoying every moment. Number two is realizing that my soul is here for the journey that it's on, and not judging it good or bad. It just is, and it's what I'm supposed to experience. And then getting back to relishing the joy of those moments is really powerful. And then number three, truth.
If you were in the Mr. America talent competition, Dan Riordan, what would your talent be?
Oh boy. I would play racquetball.
I love racquetball too, man. Fast forward gets that energy up.
Oh.
I enjoy the sport, but I really enjoyed hanging out with you today, man. Dan, it's been a pleasure hanging out and talking with you. How can my listeners get in contact with you? And if they want a copy of your book, how can they get a copy of the book?
The easiest way is to just go to signalsecret.com. That's my website, and it's got kind of all the projects I'm in the middle of.
Well, Dan, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you, man. I wish you much success. Thanks for hanging out with me in the bomb shelter. I learned so much from you. The book has been amazing. I've got bits and pieces from it. My engineer shared with me. I also want to thank my engineer, Alexander Blanc, and my super duper producer, Nicole Klempaka, Supremacy, for our theme music. And all of you for listening. I cannot do this without you. Please check out information about me. Go to drlds.com. Ask if you want to know more about me. Leave a comment. Stop being stingy. Share me with your friend. And as always, believe there's something wonderful is about to happen. But some people miss the message because they're too busy looking for the mess, but not you. Thanks for tuning in. And you've been listening to Sound Bombing. Peace.
The Super Bomb questions are brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. Mountain Made is changing the CBD game by offering a line of high-dose CBD tablets at an affordable price. Their products are THC-free and third-party tested for accuracy, cleanliness, and potency. Their products, which ship nationwide, include Build for CBD saturation, Boost for precision titration, and Recover for rest and rehab. With 9 years experience in hemp and fitness, Mountain Made's founders are focused on creating a quality product to help those who live an activated lifestyle. Check out mountainmade.life. Again, that's mountainmade.life to find out more about how their products can help you crush life. Remember, their products ship nationwide. Go check out their website today and follow them on social media at Mountain Made. That's the @ MNTMADE. Our staff at Sound Bombing uses Build before a morning workout, which helps to push our bodies to a whole new level on a daily basis. Try Build, try Boost, try Recover. Our staff is using these products to enhance our active lifestyle naturally, and we are crushing life with Mountain Made CBD, and you can too. Start today by going to mountainmade.life and ordering Build, Boost, Recover, or the multitude of other products that they have which will enhance your lifestyle. I promise you, you won't regret it.